Right now, we're on our digital transformation panel discussion. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sridhar S., for joining us on that incredible topic. And now for our digital transformation panel discussion, we're looking at talking about driving businesses to reassess their transformation roadmap. We just request everyone to please refresh your screen for a seamless experience right now. We'd request you, so that there isn't any lag, we'd request you right now to please refresh your screen while viewing us live. Well, the COVID-19 continues to change the working world as we know it. This next normal, and for some reinforce the value of working from home, digital transformation, and the process automation. Well, we're looking at talking about creating centers of excellence, understanding the value of customer data platforms, more move from single architecture cloud to multi-tenant, multi-architecture cloud and hybrid clouds, democratization of AI. We're looking at use of IoT-based digital twins in production and supply chains, plan for evolution from directed digital workers to hybrid digital human workers to self-governing digital workers, and making the information security a part of the overall design rather than the post-facto check. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're elated to have our incredible panelists. First up, Atanu Roy, Group CIO, Biocon Group, joining us. Atanu has successfully transformed companies using digital initiatives creatively that have generated significant business value multiple times the investment. Before joining Biocon, he's somebody who held the global CIO position at several pharma companies for about a decade. Thank you so much, Atanu. With this, I'd request you to please put your video and audio on. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Atanu.
Looking forward to this session.
Pleasure, sir. We also have Sanjeev Mehta, Country Manager AMD, joining us. Sanjeev heads Enterprise Business Cloud and Alliances for AMD India Mega Region. His charter is to drive technology innovation and manage demand for AMD part products from enterprise customers across industry segments, OEMs, partners, and alliances. Thank you so much, Sanjeev, for joining us today. With this, I request you to please switch on your camera and audio and join us live.
Good morning, everyone. Look forward to this session.
Pleasure, Sanjeev. Thank you for joining us. We also have Sarath Kumaramuru, the CIO, Airtel Payments Bank, joining us. Sarath is somebody who drives digital innovation and transformation of products and services at Airtel Payments Bank. With close to 2 decades of work experience, Sarath has worked with tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Yahoo.ra. Thank you so much, Sarath, for joining us today. With this, I'd request you to please switch on your camera and join us live at the Big CIO Show.
Hi, Bhavna. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks for the opportunity. Looking forward to a good discussion.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, Sarath. We also have Gautam Garg, CIO and Senior Director, PepsiCo, joining us. Gautam has over 25 years of experience in technology, and he leads PepsiCo, India's IT function across all the business units. He's somebody who's focusing on partnering with businesses to develop IT strategies and leveraging technology to deploy and sustain new and existing capabilities. Thank you so much, Gautam, for joining us. With this, I'd request you to please join us live. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and looking forward to this session.
Pleasure, Gautam. We also have Ganesh Ramachandran, Global CIO, Alchem Lab Limited. Ganesh is a digital transformation leader, and he brings over 25 years of expertise across P&L management, consulting, and technology transformation. He's also a Six Sigma Black Belt, a Strengths Certified Coach, and a lead auditor for information security. With this, I'd now like to welcome Ganesh. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Bhavna. Good morning, all. Thank you for having me, Trescom. Looking forward to a fabulous discussion.
Pleasure. Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, introducing the moderator of this panel discussion, Ninad Raje, the Director and CIO, held the show. Well, Ninad is a visionary information technology, healthcare, insurance, and financial services senior leadership professional with in-depth knowledge and 26 plus years of experience in successfully spearheading global organization. Thank you so much, Ninad. With this, I'd like to welcome you officially as the moderator of the Big CIO Show. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavna. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very, very warm welcome to all of you. It's an absolute pleasure to be a part of the Big CIO Show, which in my opinion is quite a unique concept. which brings together the best that digital technology has to offer. As you are aware, AI, IoT, AR, VR, robotics, data analytics are quite prevalent nowadays in the technology circles. Add to that the entire bonhomie around everything digital. But are these just buzzwords, or is there any real merit associated with it? Does technology really pave the way for better future and experience? These are quite pertinent questions, and I'm sure all of you are quite eager to know and understand the basis of this. And what better way than hearing from those who are quite well entrenched and richly experienced in these concepts. Together with us today is an elite panel of experts who have years and years of hands-on experience in digital technologies. On behalf of the Big CI show, I welcome them to this panel. Without further ado, let's discuss and gain insights and also some wisdom from these eminent personalities. Let's begin with, I'd like to talk to Ganesh first. Ganesh, you come from the pharma sector, where you have launched the first connect to clinic virtual platform, which helps doctors drive patient engagements. Can you talk to us about this phenomenal front office transformation that you have brought about for your organization and the community?
Sure, Ninad, and thank you for the question. It's been a very, very interesting and trying time the last 15 months. And I'd like to start by saluting healthcare professionals and their teams for the service that they've been doing in making sure that people stay healthy. So if I just rewind back to around March of the last year, when we were wondering how could we really engage with our customers, which are doctors, we reached out to a bunch of about 2,000 plus doctors to understand what were they really looking for. The analytics which came back showed us that doctors were majorly concerned with how their patients would stay healthy, because many cases they were unable to access their doctors because of lockdown, because of concerns of stepping out, or because the doctor was in a lockdown zone. So what they were really telling us was they wanted a virtual clinic to be set up for them to be able to engage with their patients. Obviously, there were huge concerns around information security. Data privacy is a big area, particularly when it comes to healthcare. So making sure that whatever information is shared between the doctor and the patient is only accessible to them was the first thing that was needed. Obviously, what you also needed to have was the fact that along with the information security, you also needed to have parts where it is very easy and intuitive for a person to be able to access it. Many of the people, particularly in India, especially if you go to the hinterland, are not very, very comfortable with technology. They would like something which is as easy as using some of the common applications that they have. And all of it needed to be able to be taken in with the telemedicine guidelines that the government of India had laid down in March and further expanded in April and May. So that was really the problem statement that we went after. And what we did was around June, we launched the first version. The biggest thing that we really picked up was how do you need to be customer centric and how do you collaborate with your customer to be able to solve a problem that the customer was facing. And in this case, we worked with an expert panel of doctors cutting across therapy areas, across metros, non-metros, across different age groups, because we also found that depending on the age, the comfort with technology also varied. So that's what we broadly came up with in terms of saying what are the requirements that are there. We built out a complete roadmap, and every 3 to 4 weeks, we've been adding on features. The platform currently has over 25,000 plus doctors. We clock something like about 400 consults in a day. And what it really helps and what it's added on, just in terms of some of the key features that we've looked at, is trying to mimic what happens in the clinic scenario, which is that there are different fees if you look at a follow-on consult versus a first-time consult. Many of the people are not comfortable with technology, so you need to have a three-way AV consult. So if I want my parents to be seeing a doctor in some other place, how could that really be enabled? And I can also join the call to be able to explain the things to the doctor. Also, what we were looking at very, very strongly was seeing how could there be a complete support available both for doctors and their patients. So there's a 24/7 call center support as well that's available, where technology problems or otherwise they can reach out, get the assistance they need. So I think all in all, what we ended up with was saying, how can you build a secure platform, an easily usable platform, and make sure that doctors are able to provide what they need for patient engagement by also giving them features like content that they could share with patients. So broadly, that's what we did, Ninad.
Interesting, Ganesh, when you say and when you talk about 25,000 doctors doing almost around 400 consults a day, that's quite a whopping sort of transactions on a daily basis, and especially towards the telemedicine guidelines which the government has issued. I think that's a far-fetching, visionary thought, and I think kudos to you and your organization to have implemented this in a very short span of time. I think within months. So very good, very nice. Thanks, Ganesh. We would now move on to Sharath. Sharath, you come from the payments industry, right? Airtel Payments Bank and all, which has seen tremendous improvements over the past few years, and especially during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. It would be great if you can elucidate the challenges you faced in deploying digital transformation projects. How did you overcome these challenges? I'm sure the audience would be keen to know and learn from your experiences as well.
Sure, Nirath. Thanks for that question. Again, I think we've gone through a lot of difficult times as part of COVID, and I think like the health, this thing, we were as a bank one of the essential service providers and had to stay up and provide services. I think our business model, is all a completely digital model, no paperwork anywhere, all the way from customer acquisition to transactions and upsell of various other services. We rely on three different uh, spaces. One, building a banking habit, wherein deep rural, through a local entrepreneur, a kirana store owner, or whatever, we enable them to allow customers to open a bank account. Then enabling digital payments on top of the India stack and other these things, being able to allow for digital payments both in an assisted and self-serve mode. And thirdly, distribution of financial service products, sachet-sized financial service products in deep rural, building that financial service habit, which is very weak within India. I think these have been some of the key goals and aspirations when we started the Payments Bank to improve this across India and touch millions of people. Now, for us to be able to build it at that kind of a scale, technology plays an extremely important role. Second, data plays a very important role. And third, the user experience has to be extremely easy. And like Ganesh mentioned, the key for us is, can we make sure that banking and payments and other financial services can be delivered with the ease of delivery and consumption of, let us say, video. We know at this point that India has gone through a phase shift in data consumption. Video consumption across the country, even in deep rural, is very, very high. And with our reach, the challenge that we have taken up is, can we make it so easy to allow even a remote customer to be able to use a low-end smartphone and be able to transact very effectively? And where they are not able to, can we get local entrepreneurs who are trusted to be able to provide these services? So one, it was not a digital transformation. For us, digital was the only way to go. And we had to build everything completely digital and with a technology platform, which was mobile and easy for consumption. The second thing, the challenges that we had are obviously uh, all of India. If you talk about deep rural areas, how do we ensure that the applications are built so easily that they can use them? We can talk about building applications for digital customers, urban customers, and there are some ways of building that. Using the same patterns and building them for deep rural customers does not work. Uh, there have been a lot of discussions around, should we make it multilingual? Is multilingual good enough? We realize that it is not necessarily good enough because a lot of our customers are illiterate. How do we then make sure that this is going to work for us? So thinking about the customer experience, ensuring that the customers are able to use this, tracking those metrics and ensuring that we enable those local entrepreneurs was something that was very key. On top of all of this, information security. RBI has some amazing focus on information security and customer trust. And our focus has always been, any digital initiative that we run is focused to ensure that customer is protected. The convenience and trust of the customer is topmost, and there is convenience. I think being customer focused was one of the key things. And like I said, it was not a transformation, but digital all the way. And I think we're reaping very strong benefits of that. And we're very proud that during the COVID period, we've been able to reach customers from over 330 banking points And we have some amazing stories where some of our feet on street have been able to help people during this pandemic. And that's something that I keep with a sense of pride, that in difficult times of the country, we've been able to raise up and help the country. Not only as Airtel Payments Bank, but as a banking community itself. And I think that comes with the technology adoption that we do.
All right, Sharad, great, fabulous. I think the thought process, it's not digital transformation, but digital only, and without any paperwork at all, and a confluence and a combination of technology, customer experience, as well as the data points. I think that has benefited you all. I think that's a great vision to have as well in trying to sort of make sure that you implement and deploy the right thought processes. Thank you so much, Sharad. We'll now move our focus to Gautam. Gautam, you're a part of the global food and beverages industry, which is quite consumer focused and is considered to be early adopters of new age technology, sophisticated technology for that matter. In today's day and age, data analytics, AI, machine learning, workflow automation have really become the omnipresent buzzwords, you know. Can you share with us your thoughts around these? Do you really think and consider these just buzzwords, or is there any real meat around it? Also, share with us any specific digital transformation you brought about within your organization. We'll really like to know that.
Thank you, Nandit, for the question. Good morning, everyone. I want to say, like all of us were disruptive with COVID last year, but the positive thing for Pepsi was that we had embarked on our digitization journey a couple of years back. So COVID was nothing but, it was endorsement of our digitization strategy, and it has only been accelerated over the last 18 months. Coming to PepsiCo, one key thing for us is PepsiCo is a global organization. And what we have done is we have leveraged our scale to build centers of excellence to address some of the new age sophisticated technology called out by my friend. So in addition to the COEs or the Center of Excellence, we also have got an innovation team. So the job of the innovation team is to look for periodic business and technology trends to ensure we are synced with the market. Because what we are seeing that the business and technology trends are blurring, and each of them are creating new opportunities for each other. So it's important for us to be aware of what exactly is happening in the market. Now I will address some of the buzzwords which we've heard. So let me start off with AI and ML. So for Pepsi, we would definitely qualify as an AI experimenter, right? I would not say we are cutting edge, but we are AI experimenter. And we started the AI ML practice sometime in 2019 when we started embedding it in our cybersecurity practice. So we leverage the AI ML capabilities to understand user behavior, to prevent new threats and classify known threats for our business. The second area, which was quick to pick onto it, was the R&D function. So the R&D function again implemented AI ML practices in our manufacturing lines to detect defects in our chips. So this was again a great, not only a great productivity play, but it was also to ensure the consumers were getting the best quality products. From an India example, which I can take recently, which happened because of COVID, as we had a strict lockdown, we implemented a WhatsApp retailer ordering app. So WhatsApp retailer ordering basically uses conversational AI. So what it happens is instead of typing in orders, you can say in words. So like for some PepsiCo brands, like we have this very famous American sour cream onion. People conversationally call it ASCO. So a retailer could basically say, I want 2 pieces of ASCO, and the WhatsApp solution with the conversational AI bot behind it would decipher it for the retailer, and it will place an order for them. So these are some of the kind of capabilities which was really an aha moment for us, and we look forward to build more capabilities on this AI ML set of capabilities. Moving ahead to workflow automation, this has been there for a number of years. So I would not say that this is really a buzzword, and we've been using tools like Skelta and other stuff. So there is nothing around that. And what we really have is the new buzzword is RPA, which is the robotic process automation. So in this, what we do is we automate, mundane activities. And what happens is it really frees up productivity of the team and also ensures that, we are getting accurate results. So this was around automation. And the last piece I want to call out, which is the heart of digitization, which is data and analytics. The reason being, this is what the business is looking at. The business wants real insights so they can do, fast action. PepsiCo has spent a lot of time on this. We built a solid cloud-based, I would say, cloud-based analytics solution. But more importantly than that, they've started explaining the importance of data. For us, using the PepsiCo potato example, we are saying data is like potato. For a data to be processed into chips, we need to source the data, we need to clean it, we need to process the potato, we need to package it and distribute it. And then it is similar to data, right? We need to do all these activities on data to ensure it is something which can be digested by the user. So a very powerful example, I would say, for our organization. And, we have identified and prioritized certain use cases, and we are building on that. I would just end up by saying, this is really an exciting space, and it is not a reality or buzzword. Business have seen benefits, and there's a lot more to come in this space. Thank you.
Excellent, Gautam, for the very, very good insights. Very interesting conversational AI and R&D team and innovation has worked definitely for you. And an excellent example of potato. I think that was really good. Everybody should look at it with this kind of a mindset. It really helps. Thanks, Gautam, once again. We'll move on to Atanu. Atanu, you are from the biotech industry, which prides itself in bringing about life-saving medicines through extensive research and adoption of technology, right? So we'd like to hear from you the digital revolutionary journey within your sector, and how did you evolve the digital landscape for your organization? If you can keep it crisp, that will be nice.
Yeah. So, technology is changing a lot in the biopharma sector. So one is that the basic things we are doing where we are digitizing all the manual processes, and pharma had been a bit of laggard here in India in adoption of technology. So we are trying to catch up, and we are trying to digitize most of the processes. But the places where we are actually leapfrogging is in the R&D sector, where discovery of new molecules, we are trying to use these advanced analytics to actually help we learn from past mistakes or past experiments and try to create new molecules at a faster pace. So that is one important thing. The other thing is, like in the last 1 year, like we had this product called itolizumab, which is used in COVID cases for cytokine storm. The clinical trial of that was done very fast, and that was possible through digital clinical trial methods. So earlier, patients used to go to hospitals and the whole process used to take time, and now digital clinical trials was enabled at home. So this hybrid approach of hospital come home clinical trial helped us reduce the clinical trial cycle time significantly and helped us to bring the drug to the market much faster. Similarly, drug discovery is taking important thing through significant amount of digitization and use of analytics. The third thing is significant improvement in productivity and debottlenecking of the plant. So we are doing connected manufacturing and connected supply chain, where the man, machine, material, all the three dimensions and money, you are able to visualize, connect all of them together so that you get a visibility of the entire value chain and try to debottleneck it and improve the throughput. So those are some of the things which we are trying to do to help the organization.
Great, Atanu. Thanks for keeping it crisp. I think digital clinical trial and technology, I think that has helped your organization bring your so-called medicines to the market and drug industry as well. It has really helped the drug industry here. Thanks for sharing those thoughts, Atanu. We'll go on to Sanjeev now. As we know, Sanjeev, AMD is one of the market leaders in technology and always launches extremely innovative products. We all know that, right? We also know that information security is extremely critical, especially in today's digital world. It will be great if you can share your thoughts as to how can information security be made a part of the overall design rather than just a checkbox somewhere during the process?
Thanks, Nirad. I think we heard everyone from Gautam to Sarat, Ganesh, Atanu, everyone talking about data security being a very key focus for them, right? Both from their internal data property perspective, or also from perspective of how they engage and keep their consumers' data secured. Now, security is as a core the DNA of AMD architecture. Since 2017, when we announced our Zen architecture, it has been part of our infrastructure rather than just being an afterthought or a separately bolt-in structure, right? So if you look at today, a lot of these organizations or the application or the hardware vendors are leveraging the platforms to do that. So just to give you an example, right? All these data can be secured within the processor. So from root of trust to secured memory, where all the applications which are our memory also gets encrypted. And in the virtualized world, where a lot of these applications are under a virtualized environment, you also use what is called a secured encrypted virtualization. So within a physical server, the entire every VMs are encrypted separately, right? So what it does is, if it's on an on-prem or on cloud, you're actually making sure that every data sets that you have is completely secured, and you have a complete control of what it is. Now, you look at confidential computing from Google or from Microsoft Azure, right? They use confidential computing based on AMD's technology. Similarly, from OEM platform, partners like Dell, they use the similar technology, or any other OEMs for that matter, they use that technology to do that part. So data security for CIOs, for consumers, may be across different verticals, right? Maybe for Sarat from financial perspective, or Atanu and Ganesh from healthcare perspective. It can really help them secure the data and give a lot of confidence to their own users, business, as well as consumer, that your data is safe with us, right? So for AMD, this has been a big story. And we are seeing tremendous success across the globe, and also in India, right? And that's where we are working along with the hardware vendors, as well our partners, and software and application vendors as well. You look at the VMware, for example, in the newer version, which is 7.0 plus, they also use our secured encryption virtualization tool to enable security within their platform as well, right? And there are data sets which really clearly shows how secure it is compared to what historically the industry has been using, right? So data is important for customers. Data is important for companies. It is absolutely part of DNA for AMD as well.
Well, great insights, Sanjeev. I think you spoke about the adoption of Zen philosophy in technology. Pretty different, pretty invigorating as well. And your philosophy and discussion about the computational technology, I think this is going to help the entire industry as such. And I think you coming from the manufacturing of processors and other infra parts for technology, I think it helps the entire community here. Thanks once again, Sanjeev, for your thoughts. We'll kind of rejig the rounds a bit, and I'd like to now go back to Gautam. Gautam, yours is probably one of the bigger organizations when it comes to mass production and massive supply chains, very massive supply chains. We have heard a lot about your path-breaking IoT-based deployments. We are quite sure that this also creates gazillion amount of IoT data captured via millions and millions of mobile devices and mobilities, right? So how does one unlock the true potential of this data that you captured? It would be great if you can share this thoughts with us.
Thank you. I think this is a very important technology for us, right? And as you pointed out, we have a very large supply chain, and our supply chain starts from agriculture, because we are sourcing potato to make, move, sell. and we have deployed large number of assets, across the supply chain. So, PepsiCo is a capital intensive business. And I would say this is one technology which can really revolutionize the business and help us drive both the top line and the bottom line. Okay. Some simple example which all of you would relate. If I really look at, across our supply chain, this technology can be leveraged, to identify crop diseases, right? Before, they advance in our crops, the machine will stop producing defective products. Machines are reminded for, regular plant maintenance. Cold storage based products are ensured that they are temperature compliant. The stores in the market, right? They are generating auto replenishment order. And now, during the case of COVID, it can help us to drive employee safety, right? By giving us some information on the office data. What I'm talking today is really not something which is futuristic, and a lot of work is happening, and all of you can, basically relate to that. So what PepsiCo, again, what we have done, similar to our DNA platform or data and analytics platform, we've set up a platform for IoT because we believe this is a strategic capability, and we do not want every market to go and invest in their own platform, considering all the challenges of integration, security, data privacy. So again, PepsiCo has come up with their own cloud-based platform, which will help us, right? In addition to that, as we all know, this is an emerging technology. We have, we are focusing on, how do we optimize this solution, right? We are now partnering with companies to look at sensors, which is basically the backbone of the IoT technology, and how we can get, lower cost sensors, considering the number of assets that we have. So this is again, a very important area for us. And I would end by giving a live example of a pilot that we did in India, right? And we call it the farm of the future. So just to again give you an example of my favorite, PepsiCo product, which is chips, which uses potato, and I love eating potatoes. What happens is we basically in our farm, we put in the IoT sensor. So what happens with these sensors? It can give you real-time information of the soil nutrients in terms of, what are the soil nutrients, along with the, the weather technology. It can predict the quality of the crop. So this is a live example which we did last year, pre-COVID, in the state of Gujarat, just to highlight the potential of this technology. There is more to come in this space, but like I said, this is one of the most important technologies for us, considering the large number of assets we have, and I'll be happy to share more information in the future.
Great, Gautam. Thanks for those thoughts. If you can also, it would be great if you can also share one key takeaway that will help all our audience here in their respective journeys. Just a one-liner quickly.
I think you need to be clear on the use case, right? You need to be clear on the use case and not just go in for any kind of technology. Please understand the business problem you are solving and not rush after technology. I think that would be a key takeaway for all of us, because ultimately all of us serve the business.
Great, thank you for those thoughts, Gautam. A key takeaway from you is understand the business problems and the needs. I think that should really help the audience here. Moving quickly to Sharath. Sharath, as we know nowadays, all businesses are striving to reduce customer efforts and make everything very easy for them. You're richly experienced in customer data platforms and creating COEs in the highly competitive payments industry. In your experience, what are the benefits driven by digital transformation, and according to you, which technologies reduce overall customer effort, and probably why?
Sure, Ninad. See, for me, and I think that's how I look at the industry, customer is king. And what we're doing is providing services to the customer. And with the extreme amount of competition and the number of options that customers have, it's extremely imperative that every business is capable of first understanding who the customer is, understanding what is the need of the customer, being able to understand when the customer needs a service from us, and ensure that we deliver that service through the channel that is most conducive to the customer. Now, if all these four aspects is what is going to drive customer engagement and hence our success, it's important to understand all this data in a concise manner. And I think that's where a lot of investment has to go into customer data platforms. And what does a customer data platform mean for me? All the way from ensuring that various processes, business processes that are creating data, they all come together. We have a data pipeline, which for every transaction, every access that the customer has, we have a data pipeline which looks at all of this and creates multiple views of it. A customer 360 view, which says, what is this customer? What is Ninad typically uses? He goes and does a payment for a movie. Then we know this is how we are adding profile attributes to you to understand and see how we can serve you the best. Then what are the services that the customer uses and how can we build more and more services that are more attractive to you? That is the next thing that we look at. And what is the best channel? Should I send an email? Should I send a push notification? Should I push something on a partner channel to you? All these are things that we put into our data sciences and customer data platform. Now, why do we have to do all these? Because we need to get to the customer when they need us. A key aspect of this is, one, near real-time processing, no batch processes and other stuff, very deep analytics, machine learning that creates these kind of insights for us. And third, within the organization, being able to ensure that securely data is being accessed. So ensuring that this access about customer data is in one place and everybody who's accessing it is accessing with the right security constraints is something that is extremely critical for us. I think these are aspects that we've used in our customer data platform to enable strong customer service.
Great, Sharad. Thank you for the insights. Any key takeaway, just a one-liner for the audience?
I look at it as customer trust, customer security, and delivering value to customer. And that's when we all win as businesses, right? So that's how we.
Great. Thank you so much, Sharad. We'll move quickly to Ganesh. Ganesh, during your illustrious career, you implemented several path-breaking concepts, especially in the context of secondary sales. What digital technologies did you deploy to drive secondary sales for your organization? It will be nice to hear from you as well. Let's keep it very crisp because we are running short of time.
Sure, Ninad. So just to give the context, I think one of the challenges that you see in pharma is that unlike a FMCG like Gotham is a part of, we do not have access to secondary sales because our stockists are shared. So we can't provide a distributor management system to them and get the information from their side. What happened during the COVID period, and obviously pharma being an essential industry, you need to ensure that you are not stocked out and you have medicines being available to people when they need it. So the challenge really was saying, how can I get closer towards the point of demand? And which is where the whole thing of the secondary started. The good part for us, of course, was we had started this journey even prior to the pandemic. And we had started figuring out how to do this. What we did was we picked up statements from the stockists. And the challenges that we encountered was that you had the same SKU being called by different ways by different stockists. So for instance, Alchem has a brand called Pan D. Which is one of the large brands that Alchem sells. Stockist A had called it Pan without space D. Stockist D had Pan with space D. Stockist C had Pan -D. So you understand the challenges that were around what we were looking at. What we did was we built an ML model which started figuring out that each of these were actually the same one that you needed to have. And we kept training the model to get it to a level where it's now almost about 99% accurate. So what we've really gone towards is saying, how do I ensure that I'm able to get what is the source of demand and able to go with it? Because particularly in pandemic, for a lot of the drugs, you saw that there was huge variations that were there, which impacted your entire supply chain all the way back to production. So making sure that you had the right kind of analytics to come through, right kind of ML models, which gave you what was needed, was critical from a secondaries viewpoint. You also have been asking speakers for their key takeaways, so let me throw it. I have, it's the age of consumer offers, so I'll go with a buy one, get one free. So the first one that I would really go with is it's a flexible architecture that I think you should be having. There are multiple challenges that we went from what we envisaged to what we finally landed up with. It was a fair amount of change that we needed to kind of take it through to account for different use cases that were there. The second one is, I think the technology teams is now increasingly becoming less of technology and more of being a change agent. And I think that's the role that each of us need to be playing to ensure business thrives.
All right. Thanks, Ganesh, for the key takeaways. Brilliant. Let's move quickly to Atanu. Atanu, the COVID-induced pandemic has brought about unprecedented changes across the known world. We all know about this nowadays, to the extent that we are forced to think differently, and the new normal has already set in. This has also brought the biotech industry to the forefront, wherein everybody is looking towards it as a practical savior. Within this context, new technologies you see within the biotech sector. We'll also like to know about any pitfalls that one should look out for during the digital transformation of an organization. It would be great if you can recite some example. Let's keep it very crisp, to know.
Yeah. So, when we are designing solutions and digital solutions, we tend to many times get carried away. And so it is very important to keep focusing on what problem we are really wanting to solve. And I think that should be the lighthouse and the guiding light, and focus on the key benefits which needs to come through that solution. So that is primarily what we try to use. Like so for example, we are designing a supply chain solution, or we are designing manufacturing automation, industry 4.0 and all that thing. Then if the focus is to improve productivity, then that should be the focus, and we should not get carried away with all the gizmos and the new things. And so I think that is what really helps in the what is important. And in today's context, when we looked at increasing in the last 1 month, increasing the throughput by significant times for the various of our products, all these things helped in making that happen, the agility in the supply chain, increasing the throughput in the production. So focusing on the basics and the key benefits actually helps.
Great, Atanu, thank you so much. Any key takeaways for the audience?
So I think, as my other co-panelists mentioned, that we are moving more from a technology to change agent, but I would also say moving more towards, ensuring benefits gets realized. So we are moving towards more of, benefit enabler, or making that happen. And that should be the focus when we are designing any solutions in mind. That helps to keep the focus. We add various tools. We use design thinking approach. We use, value stream mapping, combine Six Sigma with it, whatever techniques we use. But ultimately, keep always focus on whether it is giving the benefits. Otherwise, don't do it.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Tanu, for your great insights. We'll move quickly to Sanjeev. Sanjeev, in today's context, it's quite evident that cloud technology is something organizations have either adopted or planning to adopt. We all know that. However, since there are varied types of cloud technologies available, including public, private, hybrid, it is extremely confusing to those who want to choose the right technology. In this context, can you share some insights as to how does one decide and further move from single architecture cloud to a multi-tenant hybrid cloud? Also, how can AMD help business in this context?
So Ninad, the data speaks, right? The cloud adoption is growing. While having said that, hybrid is going to be the key. And so people will look at having data in their own data center, or maybe co-located, or have it on the cloud, depending upon where they feel more comfortable. I think some of these model of moving from CapEx to OpEx is helping. I think everybody is looking at agility in the business, and cloud can probably help with to be more agile as well, right? So that's one. Second, would be that AMD gets tremendous value both in terms of the dollar per core that you spend with our higher core counts that we offer, maybe on-prem. You look at any workloads performance on any of these applications, the ML and the AI models that many of them spoke about, the molecular testing that Atanu spoke about, you can use HPC for that, and we do extremely well on that perspective as well, right? So in all, right from IoT to AI ML to any workloads, maybe on-prem or to cloud, AMD plays a significant role. We have platforms growing with our OEMs like Dell and others as well. And also we are growing number of instances with our mega data centers and the local players as well, maybe Azure, Google, AWS, to Iota, to NetMagics, and others as well. So there is option available for CIOs and the customers to really look at, right? And one last, my simple takeaway would be, look at AMD, and time to change the status quo, and look at option where we offer you a better platform, better TCO, which is probably key for many of us today, right? So tagline is obviously AMD.
All right, Sanjay, thank you so much. AMD is the mantra for the day as such. So I would request everybody to look at AMD for their next infra refresh as well. With that, we are coming to the close of this particular session. That was quite a power-packed discussion on the hottest topic within digital technology circles. I'm sure all of you would have gained important insights into strategies, planning, and what do we need to be mindful about whilst embarking on a journeys. Unfortunately, our time's up. There's a scarcity and paucity of time, so we will not be able to take any questions. We would have loved to do that. However, we don't have any time. With that, I would like to thank our panelists for sharing their valuable experiences and providing us deep insights around the groundbreaking digital technologies. I, along with the expert panelists, would also like to thank all of you for joining this session and making it an inclusive and interactive session. Finally, a big thank you to the Trescon team for organizing and inviting us to the Big CI show. Over to you, Bhavna.
Thank you so much, Ninath. Firstly, kudos to you for moderating it so wonderfully, and thank you to all our eminent panelists. We did exceed from the pre-decided time, but you've all been so accommodating in your personal schedules and as well as your work schedules for that. So thank you once again to Sanjeev, Ganesh, Sarath, Atanu, and Gautam for your valuable insights, and Ninath, as always, a great moderation. Thank you once again.
Thank you all. Have a lovely day.
You.
Bye.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.